Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I handed out proposed agenda. Not much on it. One item under new business, which we will get to later. City staff has been bugging me on this.
Okay.
So I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I agree. I move.
You move. I support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Then public comment. Unless Tom has something to say, I don't think we have anything.
I'm good, thank you.
I don't have any correspondence per se, but I did get a phone call today from Charter Spectrum, which we can cover when we get to that item in the agenda. On the director's report, I don't really have anything to say there that, again, won't be discussed later under the old business items. Basically keeping the lights on, and that's about it right now. My last couple months have just been crazy at work, so I've not had any time to really devote to this other than necessary to keep the lights on. So that's all I got there. Then under old business, city council update. So given the election that we just had, my thought process on what we want or what we should present tomorrow night has completely changed.
Mm-hmm.
The results of that election were we have 4 new city council members, which is a majority. So a majority of city council really has no knowledge that we exist.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of going in with a content heavy on plans and things like that, my thought process now is really just to start with the basics, introduce them to what PEG is, what the history is, how we got where we are, and then say this is what we plan to do at a very high level, and just ask their blessing on that. I think it's because tomorrow night is actually their organizational meeting, so they're going to be electing mayor and mayor pro tem.
Big
It's
night.
the first meeting for these people, so to approach them with, and we're looking for your input as to
Right.
where we should go with PEG. I think that's asking way too much, just given the circumstances.
And whet their appetite for a December presentation or something.
Or a future presentation.
Sounds good.
I
Makes sense.
I think I will certainly give them the option of basic, because not all 7 members are new, 3 are returning. So those 3 may have some input. So I definitely intend to give them the option of, if your opinion as a city council is that we, what we're trying to accomplish doesn't make sense, we can end here and the commission can be disbanded and we can go on with our lives. Which, again, I don't think new members who
Yeah.
are going to have an opinion on that, but existing members might, and they might be able to sway the opinion of, a majority of council to make that happen. I certainly want to give them that option.
Okay.
So that's my thoughts.
That's tomorrow evening?
That is tomorrow evening, yes.
6, I'm assuming?
7:30.
7:30.
7:30, it's normally 7, it's 7:30 tomorrow.
Okay. I might be able to make it. I have to go to Traverse City in the afternoon.
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say, if
I'm-
you're
yeah.
certainly welcome to join me in
Okay.
this discussion tomorrow night as well. And we are at the end of the agenda, where our presentations are, so it would be 8, probably well after 8. I don't know how much is on the agenda, I haven't looked at it yet. But,
Okay. All right.
So that is tomorrow. then I guess I'll go to the next item, charter, because that also plays into tomorrow's meeting update as well. So, as you know, because of the construction at Kennedy Elementary, the PEG channel has been off the air because that's where the equipment was. Last week, I was fortunate enough to get a tour of that building, hard hat and all. Tom joined us, and the city manager was there, and we basically kind of got a walkthrough of how that is progressing and thoughts around how that could play into the future of PEG on charter spectrum. We got to see the line where it was cut.
Oh.
We got to see the line coming from the street into the building. Got to actually walk on the roof, so that was kind of exciting. Not something I'll ever get to do again. So out of that meeting, basically came the conclusion that given Charter's proposal to us of roughly $90,000 to run their fiber over to the high school so that we could use the space we're using there. The new idea is to move from the high school, actually the space we're using, and move it into the new Kennedy building. There are actually reasons that is actually better, because right now the space that we occupy is actually in the academic wing. So when I go in to do something, I've always done it outside of school hours, just because I feel really awkward of being an outsider walking through while students are present in an academic environment. The space in Kennedy isn't in the academic portion, so I could get in and out much easier without some of those conflicts. It would be very similarly sized to the space that we currently have. A desk and a desktop computer is really our equipment, some little bit of networking. And therefore, since the charter cable is basically dangling in the building, all that should be necessary is for charter to basically reconnect and potentially rerun it. Well, actually not potentially. They will need to rerun it because after our tour, Ken Blakey,
I remember Ken.
he's got a two-part last name, and Blakey Shell got back to us because he went and talked to the construction contractors, and we're not going to be able to enter the building via a roof access like is currently. There's a conduit underground that actually apparently comes out at the pole where the charter is. So it's just rerunning it in a different path into the building. So there will be some cost, but it should be dramatically less. So that is the update. That is what part of the council presentation will talk about, because certain council members are getting questions from the public, why is it? And we're still being billed 15 cents a month for it, and there's this kind of disconnect. So that's part of the answer to that is, here's the plan, should we proceed forward. Timing on that is, certain aspects could start immediately, meaning charter could get in and kind of plan out what they need to do. They might not be able to immediately come in and run cable. However, so fast forward to about 2 hours ago, I actually got a call from Charter today, basically saying, what's the status? And it's like, well, I'll be able to certainly give you more information after Tuesday night, but here is what we're thinking of. And his response, very non-committal, is, well, we'll come out and give you a revised proposal. And maybe we'll be able to save you some money.
Yeah.
But then he ended that call with, oh, and just remember, these PEG hookups take a long time.
Right, because they're so special.
The average is a year. The reality is that Charter has negative incentive
Right.
to actually allow PEGs to do what they do because they get no revenue from it and it costs them to operate. And in an environment where it used to be the case that your cable provider would have to, every so many years, negotiate a franchise agreement with each municipality, the state changed the laws on that, so there's just one master state agreement that all municipalities use the same agreement. And then there's I don't know what it's called. There is an agreement with the city, but that just basically talks about how much the city's gonna get paid for the use of its assets, poles. So, again, when a business would have to, every so many years, negotiate a contract with a municipality, that municipality was their customer. So they were incented to
Right.
provide services to make that municipality happy. Now all they have to do is make sure the state's happy, and they don't really care about what Manistee thinks or what our goals are. So PEG is one of those things that they're obligated by their state, well, actually I think they're obligated federally, and the state franchise agreement follows through on that. But that doesn't mean they have to do a good job at it or do it timely.
So it would be fiber from the pole down through the conduit into the building? Okay, not like another kind of cabling. It has to be a fiber cable.
Yes, that is.
Okay.
And
does-
that is what was run there prior.
Does the school already have fiber going to?
Yes.
So that's intact.
Well,
They have to get it rerun for that too.
the school has their own fiber.
Okay,
So the school districts in Manistee County have their own fiber
Already
that
in.
connects
Okay.
all the districts within the county. So
and that's already in the building
Yes,
and not a Spectrum product?
correct.
Okay,
They have interconnects with obviously internet providers, but I don't think those are located in that building.
okay. So they're running their fiber to wherever the other internet connects in?
Correct.
Okay.
So yeah, all of the MAPS buildings are tied together with fiber.
And did you coordinate a visit of the people soonest by chance? Of Spectrum to get in the building? or-
Well, what I told him was after tomorrow's
Oh, that's right.
meeting, I'll get back to him and try to arrange something, assuming we get
Okay,
the blessing to move forward.
okay.
So, though that is the components of what I'm planning on talking to city council tomorrow night about. That is the latest on where we stand with Charter Spectrum. Any questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I would like to see, it'd be interesting, is a commercial bid for fiber going to a building, just to see how it compares.
But I don't,
You know what I mean?
they have, we're connecting to them, so they have to, it's like your telephone connection. There is some point that is the demarcation line, where from this point on,
Right.
it's yours, up to this point, it's ours, and that box, I don't think can be located at a pole. I think it has to be in the building, so I think they have to
Do it.
run that first chunk.
Okay. No,
But from there, and this was part of the conversation that we had when we had our tour, is where that will come in will be on the first floor or second floor, I forget.
It's kind of in between there.
And there will be some work to run a line basically they've got 2 data closets on 2 different floors, and the one will be located in will need a run from between those 2 closets.
Okay.
That is something we could use a third party to do. Ken suggested we contact the IT person who's working the rest of the building and wiring everything else up there, because they're on site. It shouldn't be that costly for them to run one more line.
Right.
So there are some opportunities, but to get it to that demarcation point, that's charter needs to do.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm sure they'll take many months to do hours worth of work.
Yeah.
So then, the last thing is our reboot, and from my perspective, until after tomorrow night's city council blessing, I don't think there's really anything else for us to discuss at this point beyond what we've already talked about, other than, I think, just setting expectations that I need to clear off some of the things on my plate so that I can dedicate more time to this, because that has been an issue the last few months, and that's got to change. Otherwise, we can't move forward if I don't have the time to dedicate to this.
Right.
Or it all falls on you to do it, and which isn't fair. So,
Along those lines.
Yep.
So, say I'm a city council member, and you pitch the reboot, like just, hey, I know that's a lot for tonight, but we're gonna talk about the
Yep.
future of PEG, should we go forward? What is the argument? And by the way, talking to people around town, love the idea, right? Like, everybody sees it as a need because everything is so compartmentalized all over the place. There's no central hub, so it's a great idea. Why the city doing it? Why not organization? Why isn't anybody else doing it?
well, that is a good question. Very good question. Partly because this vehicle already exists. It already has some funding available to do something with. So those are big checkoffs on any list of things. Is it the right vehicle? One could say that this is really more of a county thing than a city thing, and that's where it should live. But in working with the county in a variety of different aspects, they don't even support us in our current incarnation. And when presented to them in the past, they've not had any interest. This is just not something they view as their area. Then you get into, well, should it be done as a nonprofit? My answer to that is yes, but setting up nonprofits aren't something that is necessarily easy or quick. And I think we should leverage the existing infrastructure.
Right.
And then at some point, that may be the next step is
Right.
to, okay, let's move this out from under the city into a nonprofit or some other structure that makes a little more sense. But having the services of the city, like, even though they don't contribute financially, they do our financials. There are benefits of falling under, the infrastructure. Now, obviously that does incur some costs on the city's behalf, but.
And also the ability for the city to collect data, like on users, where they're coming from, what they're searching, like also can help drive city decisions on, giving permits for more, whatever it is. Like if you can extract, provided you get enough foot traffic on the site, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
what are they looking for? Oh, people are interested in this. And then maybe we should think about this. Yeah, especially if there's a search feature.
That actually reminds me of something. So last week, the Tourism Authority had their annual meeting. And as part of their presentation, one of the things they're planning on doing this coming year is basically redo their website, and they have one of the more commonly used calendars in the county. Again, it's focused on specific needs. And they did actually mention our efforts and working with us as they're redoing their stuff, that we should join, together on that. So some of the conversations I've had actually,
Right.
people have listened and are thinking along,
Right.
what can we do to do some of this, so.
Right, and the argument, like, not for us to go there because they're a completely different model, right, and what they're trying to do. And there's this one could ingest so much more.
Correct.
Yeah. No, I like it. Okay.
Okay. Then, that wraps up our old business.
Future?
Then under new business, so you should have a copy of what I'm suggesting would be our meeting dates for 2025, utilizing our basic same schedule, first Monday, 6 p.m. The only conflicting date with a holiday would be September, Labor Day, so that is pushed to the second Monday. As far as I know, these dates work for me. Doesn't mean they won't be conflicts that come up in the year, but as of right now, I'm not aware of any reason I can't make any. Do you have things that you know you can't do, and should we adjust?
Yeah,
Or should we just cancel because you're gonna be gone all month?
Right. So I am leaving the 19th of December, and I probably won't be back until the first week of February. But that
Okay.
being said, is there a prohibition against me calling in?
Yes.
There is.
Yes.
What about video?
State law says you cannot attend a open meeting electronically. You have to physically be present.
By proxy? No, not by proxy either?
Nope. It's interesting. Before COVID, it was loosely interpreted that you could, under some circumstances, remotely participate. Obviously, during COVID, all meetings were held remotely. But then when they revised the language post-COVID, they actually made it more restrictive, which
Not preparing for the next
still
one.
boggles my mind that the world changed and everything. Having meetings remote is common, but it's not allowed for open meetings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about February, but January for sure.
Okay.
But that being said, like, so for example, if you get the concurrence to go forward and we meet in December, right, and we come up with a game plan with to-dos,
Mm-hmm.
can that, like, you have meetings outside to discuss like how the project is going, or does that can only be done here? Like, you asked me to do something, right? You asked me to like,
Right. Because there are only two of us, and who facilitates a quorum, anytime we get together to discuss, under the Open Meetings Act, it needs to be an open meeting. So
Okay.
we really can't get together, we can't get to have a phone call together. We can't, because anytime we do that, we're violating the Open Meetings Act. It's just a factor of the size we are.
maybe we should make December's meeting, like, if you get to go ahead, like, planning out, like,
Right, so things that we can do
Lunches.
during that time period and still be productive, even though we won't have meetings.
yeah, okay. I can say for now, January 6th won't work.
Okay,
The 3rd of February, May, I don't know
okay.
for sure.
My suggestion would be to leave these as is, because technically, city council could appoint another person at any time, which would then give us a quorum.
Perfect.
So that we could still meet, or, that person. And if that person were appointed in December for January, it would be useful to have a meeting
Yeah,
and
for
just
sure.
bring them up to speed and, so that, so
Because there's an opening still, right?
there is still an opening,
And
yes.
so it's 3? It was revised to 3?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so as long as there's 2,
Correct.
you have a quorum.
Yes, yes.
Okay, maybe I'll try to recruit somebody. Okay,
Yes, please.
okay.
And my term is up this year and I am planning on renewing, so
Okay. So you're still in?
I'm still in.
It was a year ago we met.
It is hard to believe, yes.
Yeah, I don't, everything else, I mean, I don't
Okay.
know at this point. I know
Yeah.
August I won't be here the whole month.
Again, things
Yeah.
may come up, but as of now, that's what you know and that's what I know. So I'll make the motion to approve these dates for our meeting calendar for 2025. And 6 p.m. still, or does some other time you think would work better?
No, that's fine.
At 6 p.m. So that's my motion. Do you support?
Yes, move to support,
Okay.
support.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. That brings us to the end of our agenda. Oh, wait. No, we did approve the minutes. At least did we approve the minutes?
No, we,
Right, okay, I wrote that on the wrong line, so I skipped over that. Let's go back and it was approval of the agenda.
I must have skipped something.
You wrote up the minutes, do you have anything to
No,
add?
no.
Do you want to make a motion to approve them?
Yeah, motion to approve the minutes from
Okay.
August,
September.
September.
We have a motion to approve the minutes for the September 16th, 2024 meeting. I will second that motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Now I think we got everything done on our agenda. So, any final comments from anybody? Hearing none, let's adjourn at 6:27.